The Diamondbacks are a wagon, confirmed. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, soon to be your mayor of PHNX once again. This man next to me will not stop. He's going to do this the whole show. It's Mr. Electric himself.
How can you
Shawn
not when those drums come in, dog?
I know, it's just incredible. But welcome in, you guys. Of course, we will be joined by Jesse Friedman from Chase Field here shortly. But the Arizona Diamondbacks, believe it or not, have won their fifth straight game. Woo! And before the game, Torey Lovullo had some interesting comments. The team was working on some fundamentals like bunting. They had some bunting drills they were doing, and when asked about it, Torey had this to say in regards to what he feels the season is going to come down to.
We got to be better at it. It's plain and simple. We got to be better bunters. We've had some opportunities early in the year. We were very successful at it. We felt like we came out of spring training hot and we trained ourselves right, and then it slipped away from us, and maybe the technique got away from us. So we're going back to our spring training philosophy, get after the work, and have more success at getting the bunt down. This is going to come down to one game. This season's coming down to one game, 100%. Book it. And I want to know when I put the bunt sign on that guy's got it. I don't want to worry if he has it. I want to put that bunt sign on. I want him to think I got it. I want every face in the dugout to know he's got it because I've seen him work on it.
That's how critical this is going to come down to for this team. Torey Lovullo says it will come down to one game.
Yeah.
We don't like that, but he could be right. This is an absolute dogfight in the wild card standings, and victories like tonight's win could ultimately prove to be very, very important for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They win tonight against the Cincinnati Reds, a game that they almost let slip through their fingers after Merrill Kelly pitched an absolute gem for this team. Hopefully we will have some updates on Merrill Kelly. We haven't had a chance yet to hear anything from the press conference, so if you guys post anything in the chat, we'd love to hear if there was any updates on Merrill Kelly. But Jesse will be joining us, like I said, here in a little bit with some updates on that. But Merrill Kelly was absolutely at his best tonight. 7 innings pitched, one hit that, as Mr. Friedman would point out when he texted to us, could have easily been avoided. Yeah. But he would have been perfect leaving the game when he did. He just gave up that one hit, no runs, no walks, 12 strikeouts. Merrill Kelly, absolutely phenomenal.
Tied career high for the strikeouts, right?
What's that? Yeah, tied a career high. And hopefully this is just another situation where it was a cramp. That's what Coco Flojo says. It was just a cramp. It looked like that. It appeared to be a cramp. Yeah. He didn't really seem to be in too much pain, but he looked to be disappointed. And based on his pitch count, like many of you are saying, like we are potentially suggesting, this looked like it was going to be potentially a complete game for Merrill Kelly.
Yeah. No, I mean, he had his stuff, right? We were talking about it during the thing. It's just another one of those Merrill starts where you look up and it's the 6th inning and he only has 65 pitches. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
How did we get here?
How did we
I
get
don't remember
here?
any
How
of
does
it.
he do this?
It's like when you're driving somewhere and then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, I don't remember driving for the last 3 minutes. How did I not get in an accident?
Yeah, or like when I had to drive all the way to Saul Bookman's house, and I just at one point just
blacked out.
Blacked out.
You wake up and all of a sudden
I was like,
you're there.
wow,
Like,
it wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
How did we even get here?
Yeah.
We got here in one piece, so I'm not complaining about it, but I don't really know how we got here. But yeah, he's going to be calling the mainstay for a reason.
He is the mainstay, but any concerns to you that he keeps having cramps? I mean, like I said to you guys earlier, he's always talking lately about how hot it is at Chase Field, which it is very muggy. It has been very muggy the last couple of times that he started out there. So I'm like not surprised that he's complaining about it, but I mean, just considering once again that he had the blood clot in his leg and now he's had a couple of cramps, and that since then that's required him to leave the game. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, it feels.
Oh, it was a right hamstring. That's a little bit better than
it feels weird because I mean it keeps kind of being somewhat like it's the same stuff. It keeps being leg things, and I mean Corbin's presser or just interview after the game. They asked him like how good was Merrill tonight, and he gave what to me seemed like kind of a weird response. He was just like he said he was great, whatever, and then he kind of paused and he was just like he's just really been battling for us, and then he was like he's obviously been dealing with some, and he kind of like paused and it's like some weird injury things, and it made it seem like Merrill's really been kind of dealing with something that might be more than it just being hot and him not being hydrated enough.
Yeah.
Like it kind of seems like there's something going on there. That's just me maybe reading too much into that one Corbin interview, but still, regardless, even if it is just cramps, like it clearly is a thing that keeps popping up, and for him to keep coming out and giving such consistent performances, even though he does keep having this problem, it just makes. I mean, what would he accomplish if he wasn't cramping?
Yeah, no kidding. We're experiencing those leg cramps. He's had 11 strikeouts on August 14th against Colorado Rockies, 9 strikeouts against the Minnesota Twins, and then peppered in between some smaller strikeout performances against the Dodgers and the Padres. But still, this one, very, very good. His best start of the season, and it's very good to hear that he is doing okay.
Zach's bringing up a good point. It's not hot in October.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if in October in Philadelphia.
That's right.
Or, I mean, like October in Los Angeles.
That's right.
Is nice.
He's just training his body. But
October in Milwaukee.
Yeah. The Diamondbacks did almost blow this
wonderful
game.
tried.
They really did. They almost tried to blow this wonderful outing for Merrill Kelly. Let's talk about the bases loaded blunder there in the 7th inning because it was fairly inexcusable, right? The Arizona Diamondbacks had bases loaded. Was it no outs? I believe
so.
Yeah, we believe it was no outs.
Yeah.
They somehow get a Jace Peterson double, and yet I'll tell you, if you didn't watch the game, they only scored 1 run. How that happened, I still can't answer to this day. But basically, from what we could see, it seemed like there was just a backup in traffic here.
Yeah.
If you can see here.
I feel like kind of everyone is to blame. Everyone except Ketel Marte, I'm going to say, is at fault here.
Okay.
First.
So we have here on the base path, we have Gabriel Moreno over there at third base. We have Tony Perez-Jica here on the left side of the screen. He is putting up the stop sign. Then we have Ketel Marte on second, kind of off second, more likely. And then Jace Peterson almost 2 second over there in between first and second.
Yeah.
So basically what had happened was it looked like Perez-Jica put up the stop sign for Gabby Moreno. But at that point, Ketel and Jace were both overly committed to advancing on the base path.
I think, like I was saying, I think there's there's a few different people to blame here. I think the natural reaction was to blame Tony P.
Yeah.
Which I understand, and I do think he is in part to blame here.
Just for you just have to send him at this point.
Yeah, right. Like you can make the argument that he should be more aggressive here and should send him. I think what's important to put into context here is that the hit. I don't think it was as obvious to the players as it was to the viewers that it was going to be a hit and not an out. And so I think the base runners were staying relatively close to their bags. They weren't running on contact necessarily. So I think what happens here is they're holding up, but Jace Peterson, who got a hit for the first time in 8 years, it feels like, and was just excited to see the ball hit the grass, was just running full speed around the bag. Yeah. Did not fully realize that his base runners were where they were at, right? Yeah. So now they're in a situation where you basically have 2 guys on second base. At this point, I think Tony needs to notice that stopping somebody here is going to be chaos.
Yeah.
Because you basically have 2 people at one base. In his defense, I think he's throwing up that stop sign a long time ago, and Gabby's coming so hard into third that he doesn't notice it. Like at this point, Tony's got the hand up. Gabby's got his head down, rounding third.
Yeah.
So I don't think he notices it there. So, but I do think at a certain point, Tony needs to send him. But if Jace Peterson does his job, pays attention, stops at first.
Forgot how to act.
Yeah, if Jace Peterson stops at first and Tony stops Gabby at third, none of this happens. Because the only reason Gabby gets out at home later on is because Jace Peterson is at second and is basically jogging back to first. Yeah. And Gabby thinks he can catch the defense sleeping, which he almost did do. If Jace hadn't gone so aggressively into second and paid attention and Gabby stopped at third like he originally did, it's bases loaded, run scored, no outs.
Yeah. Yeah.
A completely fine situation. I get that you want Tony to be more aggressive and it looks worse there later, but it happened the other night where everyone was screaming that Tony should have been more aggressive. Yeah. And then they ended up scoring the winning run. Mm-hmm. They ended up winning that game because he kept Ketel at third and they were able to knock him in later. Right. So and
everybody else was able to get back, and it would appear like Moreno only went because he thought that Ketel was kind of hung out to dry in between second and third.
It was a risky base running decision, but I don't think it was necessarily a bad one. I can't say Jace
Mace
Peterson is the worst player we ever had.
Mace Devil hits
Jace,
it. He said even Jace's success.
Yeah,
is
man,
100% true.
It's so accurate.
The guy didn't know what to do after he got a hit in a clutch situation.
Well,
so
it's just
like there needs to be more awareness of where your base runners are at.
Well, this goes back to what Torey was saying. I know he was talking about bunting, but these are the kind of egregious mistakes you can't make. This was one of the worst base running situations I feel like they've had. They've definitely had some bad ones, especially lately. In the second half of this season, they've had some big mistakes that they made on the base path. But this one, I think why it was so frustrating was bases loaded, no outs, and Jace Peterson got what appeared to be a base clearing double,
right? Like out of someone that you didn't expect anything from.
Yeah, and instead you get like I understand the Reds playing the ball well and getting it in, and I understand Jace maybe needing to stay at first, but it really feels like that should have been at least a first and third with Cattell on third, Jace on first, and Moreno is scoring as well. So it was just luckily a situation that Corbin Carroll saved us all from because
oh my God,
the minute Merrill Kelly leaves the game, the Reds are able to go up by 1 run. Corbin Carroll then picks the best possible time to hit his first home run in the last 30 days. In the last 30 days, July 23rd was the last time Corbin Carroll hit a home run.
They were saying, going into great detail on
it was
on the broadcast.
incredible. The timing on it was like scripted. I couldn't believe it.
And me and Shawn were also talking about this as well. Like, dude needs to figure it out. It's been
we were.
so long.
We were, because I was joking earlier about Nick McLean hitting a home run in this game and spitting in Corbin's face as he rounds the bases and steals the rookie of the year from him. But I mean, everyone knew. Like we were talking about, he's been playing well, but you want to see him put one over the fucking wall.
Yeah.
Like you want to get him back to being he's been Corbin Carroll. You want him to be Corbin fucking Carroll again.
We want him to be him.
Yeah, exactly. He hadn't been that
him
for a while, so it was good to see him, especially in such a massive moment. Finally,
it was just beautiful.
Get a home run.
Yeah, it was, and with a man on base too, which is something the Diamondbacks haven't done a great job of doing lately. But Paul Sewald comes in, closes the door in the 9th inning. Of course, he does have to make things a little interesting, but he does it without giving up a run. This man continues to be great for this team. Even when he's not good, he's still somehow great. 8 games now in a row without giving up a run. 7th save as a member of the D-backs. 2 away from tying McGuff for the team lead in saves. I mean, that's not counting the ones that he brought over with him from the Mariners. So, again, he's been very good. But it's one of those rare occasions where we really couldn't decide on just one king snake. So we're just going to give it to 2. Let's give it to Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs given up, 12 strikeouts. Probably would have gone 9. And you know what? That's fine. We'll just give it to Merrill Kelly. I'm just going to give it to Merrill Kelly. I mean, Corbin Carroll, that home run is good too, but Merrill Kelly just absolutely outstanding for this team. And luckily, nobody in the chat today is coming for us for doing this, so we don't have to make any last-minute adjustments.
I wanted to give it to Jace Peterson, but I was told no.
No, you don't.
No, I didn't.
You absolutely do not.
Merrill, like, it doesn't feel like they win this game with any other pitcher on the mound.
Yeah. Let's go back to the super chat. There was a super chat up there with a question actually about Merrill. Chris C said, "What did you believe Merrill Kelly's ceiling was when he started playing with the D-backs? I don't believe it was this." Chris, it absolutely was not.
He wouldn't be on this contract if this was what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could have prayed for high, 3 ERA. Maybe we could have prayed for him to come out and give this team six innings.
How different do you think his ceiling was from Zach Davies?
I think the expectations might have been fairly similar, but a little bit higher for Merrill Kelly. But Merrill Kelly also had the caveat, like Scott McGuff did, of he hasn't pitched in Major League Baseball in a long time. So like that idea, or the fact that he was a Korea pitcher and he comes over here, I feel like that would have been like all right, well, since he didn't do that well. Like Zach Davies is a little different because I feel like as a major league pitcher, we expected a little bit more out of him.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but Merrill Kelly again, I think it felt fairly like low reward or low risk, high reward with Merrill Kelly, and it ended up being a much higher reward than I'm sure the Diamondbacks even could have imagined. Also, BCom See Clearly, thank you for your super chat. Says I'll take it for what it is right now, and that's the Diamondbacks winning some baseball games.
Dub's
and that's all we need. Some dubs. You know, this is a team right now that has once again figured out how to win baseball games. I don't understand how they turned it around. I don't have any answers for that, but what I do know is I'm glad they did, because this team is once again playing like the team that we all kind of became infatuated with earlier this season, that just was so fun to watch. You know, even this game, Miguel Castro, I know a lot of people are going to question Torey bringing him in instead of Kevin Ginkel or another option. I also question that too. I don't really know, especially in a game that was this tight, why you wouldn't have gone with what you consider to be your best, you know, your best reliever outside of Paul Sewald right now. But I'm sure matchups and other things had to do with it. Also, I don't know. It still continues to feel like no matter what Torey does at times,
you can't use Ginkel and Sewald in every outing. Like at a certain point, you got to pitch the guys that you have in your roster.
Exactly. That's well said. Well said. And with that, we're just gonna say the Diamondbacks are a goddamn wagon.
They are.
They
a
are.
goddamn wagon.
So put your money on them. Go to the BetMGM Sportsbook, throw some money on them over there. Maybe get down on the
lot of money
swing for the fences promotion.
Definitely get down on the swing for the fences.
Swing for the it's free boost. It's free boost, and it's fun to play. All you have to do is log into your BetMGM Sportsbook app and then play the BetMGM MLB free-to-play game between now and September 7th. You're a batter, and you pick an area of the strike zone, and depending on the area of the strike zone you pick, you'll get some sort of hit or a home run, or you'll pop out, and you will get the prize associated with whatever you selected. Prizing must be used on Major League Baseball and does expire in 24 hours. And, of course, you can play it once a day, so make sure to get on it. If you're making MLB bets, make sure to boost those bets from that MLB free-to-play game. Swing for the fences right now with BetMGM. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and you will receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details, and now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
Well, we thank you guys for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel right now. We always love it when you comment, like Aaron Hughes' comment right here that says, guys, I'm sorry to break it to you, but this means Castro's option has vested. And what Aaron is talking about is the number of appearances that Miguel Castro had in his contract this year that immediately causes it to be picked up for next season. So Miguel Castro, unless he's traded, will be a part of the Arizona Diamondbacks next year. Someone else had Castro's back. Piece of Yoshi said, Castro pitched well in the Rangers series. He absolutely did, but he pitches a third time in 4 days and struggles. Overusage is definitely a big problem with with Castro.
That's one thing I feel like people a lot of times struggle to keep in context when they talk about relievers is like, it's not, these aren't starting pitchers where like their workload is relatively consistent throughout a year. Like they can relatively say they're pitching once every 5 days. Yeah. Like whenever you're talking about the recent performance of a reliever, you have to talk about how much he's been used recently.
Yeah,
because that definitely matters.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's important context.
Yeah,
that
him and Chafin were overused early on in the season, and that's still happening for Miguel a bit now. But again, if you're here on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our wonderful shows go live. Leave us a thumbs up. We always appreciate that. That's our attaboy. Like we just need attaboys stacked up tall, so we feel good about ourselves. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, you can't give us a thumbs up, but you can leave us a review, and most importantly, you can subscribe to us. That's what we would love you to do. If you haven't purchased a Die Hard membership yet, signed up for a Die Hard membership yet, do it now. Go over to gophnx.com and you can get our brand new t-shirt as your free shirt from the phnxlocker.com. This little snake wrapped around a bat. I love it so much. And of course, you can get yours today. You also get 20% off all future purchases with your membership. You get members-only discounts with our partners. You get a gift certificate from Mountain Mike's Pizza. You get a Dobson Ranch card. You get access to our members-only Discord lounge. You get Jesse's newsletter, Full Count, and all the newsletters from all of our writers around this joint, and so much more. So sign up today, become a member, and go pick up this shirt. This shirt is awesome.
So fucking fire.
I love this shirt so much. I've already ordered it myself. Sefer I think I'm mispronouncing your name, but Sefer says, how about the Ahmed performance? Laugh my ass off. Lawler, please. Yes, we all want Lawler, please. We want Lawler soon enough. And thank you for the super chat. But let's look at that shirt again. That is absolute fire. Snake. I love it.
I love that teal outline. It's just
man. Yeah, it is. It really is the icing on the cake there. Yes, and AZ Sports Girl, you do have to get it, especially if you're going to continue to use me as your avatar image there. But
it's our nicest D-backs shirt.
It really is.
I will be getting it.
I like all the snakes wrapped around bats. Our other snakes wrapped, our Rattler shirt. That's what we call him. That one's good too, but might get a bit confusing considering snakes, we have a team called the Rattlers around here. But
true.
One person we haven't talked enough about tonight is probably a person that could have gotten a king snake himself, and that is one and only Mr. Diamondback.
Mr. Diamondback.
Gabriel Moreno.
Gabriel Moreno.
Yeah, Gabriel Moreno has been incredible for this team. In fact, he was 3 for 4 tonight. I believe that's what he finished at. I could be wrong about that because I haven't looked, but he is 3 for 4 tonight. Of course, he did have that base running blunder, but he also leads the Arizona Diamondbacks in a very important category, and that is defensive runs saved. Let's take a look at where he stacks up in regards to everybody else for defensive runs saved on the team.
It's high.
13. Alec Thomas is the next closest with 8, and then shockingly, Lourdes Gurriel with 7. Sewald with 6 and Dominic Fletcher with 4.
Dominic Fletcher being
are you surprised by this list of 5?
Yeah.
You look a little.
I mean, mainly because Lourdes. I mean, Alec spent a lot of time. I mean, Alec is terrific defensively, obviously, but he spent a decent amount of time in Reno, so I'm a little surprised to see that he's up there. But and then Lourdes, I mean, it's the big surprise for me because every time a ball gets hit to left field, I hold my breath because he never takes a good route and he never makes it look easy.
Yeah.
But I guess he's getting the outs. Like, it's been a while, I guess, that I've seen him actually fuck up in left field.
Well, and defensive runs saved is such a weird thing too because of the way that they determine it. There's a lot of factors that go into this, but like outfielders tend to have like some things in regards to positioning and where they're, the route that they took and things like that. That, like, for instance, that Alec Thomas catch the other night where they said that it was 65% catch probability, and it was based on the fact that, like, he took a bad route to the ball that made it, as hard to get to or whatever, right? So, like, that's kind of the stuff that they take into account. But with Gabby, I think it's just been more about his ability to gun out runners on the base path. He's been incredibly effective there at putting out, runners attempting to steal. And I mean, he's just honestly so much better than the other catchers the Diamondbacks have. I mean, they DFA'd Carson Kelly. And when you take a look at Jose Herrera is -7 for defensive runs saved. That's -7. I do believe he is the worst. He has the worst defensive run save metrics for the team. The Diamondbacks are now 46-37 with Gabby Moreno in the lineup.
I think Gabby is the wagon.
He is.
Like, I think he might be the entire
He's the horse
wagon
that is pulling the wagon. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Diamondback. I don't know what you want me to tell you. He's Mr. Diamondback. He is the heart and soul of this team. Yeah. I say it every day. Look at the poverty franchise that is the St. Louis Cardinals. They don't have a catcher. And look at, they don't have a catcher. Yadier Molina left, and now they suck. Look at the New York Yankees. They haven't been fucking relevant since Jorge Posada left. You need a good catcher. And the Diamondbacks have a good catcher, and now they're winning baseball games.
I hate to break Jacob Franklin's heart, and he might be right, because the biggest thing about Gabriel Moreno is that it allowed the Diamondbacks to move on from Carson Kelly. It allowed the Diamondbacks to have a catcher now behind the plate that they believe in, both offensively and defensively, and that can do all of the things. Like, it almost felt like at times that they were trying to have two catchers that were able to do all of the things that one catcher could do. but Moreno has just been outstanding back there. And even though that this trade looks very good for the Arizona Diamondbacks in regards to their trade with the Toronto Blue Jays, I do have to let you guys know that Dalton Varsho has 20 defensive runs saved. 20. Yes, it's more than Gabby, but if you combine Lourdes and Gabby, they have 20 defensive runs saved together. So it's a push.
And also, Dalton can't hit.
Yeah. All right. That's fine. He's not wrong about that. But what I will say is that this team continues to be surprising. Yet it's not surprising when Gabriel Moreno is behind the plate. Like, he seems to be a big part of the reason why. When you look at when they struggled, he was not in the lineup. And, since he's been back in the lineup, the Diamondbacks were able to get things back on track and have now returned to their winning ways. So it's official. We're declaring Gabriel Moreno Mr. Diamondback.
He is Mr. Diamondback.
I'll have to contact my sash guy.
His statue will be built, like Tony Gwynn's.
Yeah,
it will say Mr. Diamondback under it.
Yeah, I'm down for it. The wild card standings continue to get wilder. Do we have the wild card standings, Damon? Let's take a look at those. This is good. We're back in it, you guys. We're back. We're a little bit closer to the Phillies, 2.5 games back from them, half a game back from the Cubs still. And this is starting to look like the Diamondbacks are edging out. The Marlins now 2 games back in the hunt, and it feels like things are rolling in the D-backs direction. Again, they have a lot of games left against the Cubs, the Giants, and 3 more against the Reds. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this series plays out. Today, Torey Lovullo talked about the reason why he swapped Merrill Kelly and Brandon Pfaadt in the starting rotation. And he basically said that it lines up much better for Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly to be 1 and 2 for their big marquee matchups that they have coming up, for the big important, series that they have, and so it feels like the Diamondbacks are now kind of adapting to playoff mode and getting themselves ready for that.
Do you want to read off the standings for the audio people?
Yeah, I would love to do that. So right now, you still have the Braves, Dodgers, and Brewers leading their divisions. And then in the wild card teams, you have right now in the first spot, the Phillies at 69 and 58 with a 2.5 game lead over the final spot. Cubs at 67 and 60 with a half a game above the final spot, and the D-backs in that final spot at 67 and 61. Just behind them, you got the Giants and the Reds, both a half game back, and then the Marlins, like I said, now have dropped 2 back. And we're climbing. We're not only over the top of Mount 500, but we're trucking up that bitch. Let's get that little Marte going up the mountain. It's yodeling season, baby. It's yodeling season.
I thought we were never going to see that again.
Yeah, I really, because we made one where he's going down the mountain. It's very sad. It's dark. We don't want to see that one anymore.
There were some really dark days there. We're back on the other side. But yeah, I mean, looking at the standings, the Diamondbacks by no means have this under control, but it does seem like it is tightening up a little bit. The party of teams that have a chance is tightening up. You mentioned that game and that 2 games back that the Marlins are means a lot more than it did when the Diamondbacks were that a few weeks ago.
Absolutely. Right? Fuck the Marlins. They might as well be out of it as far as I'm concerned.
Obviously, like we were talking a few weeks ago about the Padres still potentially having a chance. I don't really think that's in the cards. I mean, I guess it still is, but obviously day by day it becomes less and less likely.
These teams are all winning a lot right now, which at a point when the Diamondbacks were losing, they were all losing a lot, like except the Cubs, because that's how the Cubs crept up from out of nowhere and got into this race, right? But like right now, that could easily happen where these teams kind of all struggle there for a little bit, and those Padres could just go on a streak and find their way back in it. Everything's close enough right now that anything can happen, and that's why Torey is saying that he is 100% sure that this is going to come down to 1 game, and I'm starting to believe that myself. But I think more than anything, how much fun is this next month of baseball going to be? Like,
oh man, yeah.
I mean,
everything's going to matter.
Everything is going to matter, and even if the Diamondbacks struggle, there's still a chance with the teams that they have ahead of them in the wild card that they're still playing for them to make up ground. I love the 3, wild card spot. Like we wouldn't even be discussed. Like yes, the Diamondbacks would be right there behind the Cubs for the final spot if there were only 2. But man, this just makes it so much more fun.
Those dark days would have been a lot darker with 2 wild card spots.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot. It would have seemed a lot less or a lot more bleak But yeah, I mean, it is gonna be awesome. As like a pure baseball fan, like this is what you want to see. You want to see teams competing. You don't want to see the season be decided a month before it's over,
right?
Which I mean, rarely happens. But like, it is going to be awesome to see. I mean, if the playoffs were, if we were heading into the last series of the season, there's 5 different teams that could take up. I mean, technically, there's 6 different teams that could take up those wild card spots.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So,
right?
like, I mean. We're gonna be in one, and I mean, we're also like the stakes get higher. You see teams collapse. I mean, obviously, I mention it all the time. Grew up a Red Sox fan. Like Terry Francona lost his job as a Red Sox manager because of a massive collapse they had. So like teams collapse. Yeah. You don't know. I'm not saying
the Diamondbacks collapse.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we're coming for the Dodgers, but just but in the general baseball sense, like the Brewers have always kind of been hanging on to that top spot. They have a few bad series, and all of a sudden they're out of the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing with the Reds right now. Like the Diamondbacks have all the reason in the world, all the motivation in the world to sweep this series with the Reds. Not only do they need to win every game, but the tiebreaker is so crucial considering the only other time they played the Reds, they swept them in a 3-game series. So you're absolutely right. If the Diamondbacks achieve that, the Reds could just be out of it like that completely. If Miami, creeps up or. If the Padres have a good series or a couple of good wins.
Right. But if this series had gone the way the last Reds series had gone, all of a sudden the Reds could be leading the Central.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So it's wild. The playoffs are awesome. The baseball is awesome.
This is so good. It's so much fun. But of course, if you're talking about fun, you got to stop by Circle K just to see us on the gas pumps.
Like, can't have fun without snacks.
You don't even, I mean, go get some snacks and then watch us on the gas pumps, and that's a fun afternoon right there in itself. But Circle K does have the best coffee, beer, and snack selection and premium gas. You can stock up at Circle K. It's America's thirst stop. But again, if we're on the gas pumps, we understand the thirst. Heyo. Also, right now, you can get deals such as buying Powerades 4 for $5 and be entered to win, potentially win a 2023 Ford Big Ben Bronco SUV that you do have to fight Shawn for. And Damon is also involved in that as well. It's a very confusing situation. They also have buy 2, get 1 free Monster Energy drinks and buy 2, get 1 free Beatbox hard tea. So do not miss out on all of this great stuff. Right now, text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy 1, get 1 free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you. But you don't need to do that. You know where Circle K's are. They're all around you. You see them all the time. You know where your closest one is. You might even be like my friend Rock and know the cashier by their first name and stuff. So also, while you're there, say hello to your favorite cashier and pick up some Four Peaks beer or pick it up wherever you get your beer. It is the official craft beer of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I'm drinking a delicious Hop Knot IPA right now myself, one of my favorite beers that they make. But of course, they have a wide variety of beers. You can try out all of their beers at the Four Peaks Draft Room. They have all of their beers there available on draft. It's located on the suite level at Chase Field down the first baseline, and it is a great place to watch a Diamondbacks game from. You can also join us for our takeover events. We will be meeting for our takeover on September 5th at the Four Peaks Draft Room. So make sure to stop by there. You can check out the events page in our show notes to find dates and tickets for that. You can also check out fourpeaks.com/events to stay up to date on everything Four Peaks and stay up to date with them at their social on at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub. You can keep up with the latest Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. Well, we are very excited, of course, to get some updates from Chase Field, and we are joined now by the one and only Jesse Friedman. Thunderstick, Jesse Friedman. How you doing, sir? How is Merrill Kelly doing, most importantly?
Yeah, Merrill is good. Merrill seems to be totally fine. I don't know what updates you guys might have heard up to this point, but it is a right hamstring cramp. The exact same issue that Merrill had in his start about 2 weeks ago. I believe it was on August 9th. Pretty much the exact same thing happened. Not at all connected to the issue blood that clot. He had with his calf. Yeah, not connected to the blood clot once again. So yeah, it's good news and bad news in a sense, right? I mean, it's very good news in that there's no long-term sort of concern in terms of like Merrill not making his next start or anything. That's not even really a question, it doesn't sound like. But there is maybe some long-term concern in terms of like you can't have Merrill in game 2 of the wild card round like having to leave a start in the 5th inning because of cramping, right? Like that's just not something that you can really have happen. And he was very frustrated with that after the game. he hates being removed from games as it is. Obviously, Merrill is the kind of guy who really prides himself with the number of innings that he throws. And, especially in a game like this that was pivotal, and, it kind of looked for a second there like Merrill being removed from this game an inning earlier than he might have otherwise could have proved to be the difference in this one, right? The D-backs bullpen came out in the 8th inning. It was a bit of a tough spot. Kyle Nelson, entered early a little bit unexpectedly. The Reds countered, put a pinch hitter to face him, and Nick Senzel. But yeah, the Reds instantly scored 2 runs the moment the bullpen enters the game, when Merrill Kelly was on an incredible run. I don't know if I've ever seen Merrill Kelly pitch like he did tonight. It was incredible stuff.
And he was so
in the
efficient.
long term, yeah, he was incredible. But yeah, in the long term, the D-backs need to figure this out, and they sounded very intent on figuring out whether it's a hydration issue. Merrill said he's going to meet with the nutritionist and try to come up with a plan. This is an issue he's had in years past. He said he's had this issue in Korea. I think it popped up a little bit back in 2019. So it's something he's had some experience with in the past, but the D-backs are hopeful they can get this figured out so it doesn't happen again.
Jesse, this is why I'm always telling you to drink water. This is why I'm always worried that you're not drinking enough water. I'm so worried you're going to cramp up. It's insane. It's my worst fear. And see, now it's happening to Merrill. But yeah,
the load that I put on my body, every day is pretty similar to the load that Merrill put on his today.
Absolutely
so
is.
I can understand.
You're a beast. But yeah, I imagine things are still pretty high there, though. Even though Merrill had this cramp, I'm sure he's pretty proud of his performance. And this team, considering they kind of blew it after he pitched such a gem, and then were able to come back and win it. I imagine the emotions are fairly high tonight.
I think that's true. That's mostly true. But you could tell Torey was not happy with what happened in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
That was the kind of thing that frankly, it reminded me of when I play MLB The Show, and I'm really bad at
That's
I'm really bad at
what I said.
Exactly.
I turned to Damon and I said that's exactly what I was doing last night.
Yeah.
I was just I was Jace Peterson. I was running no matter what.
Sending all the runners with
going.
the R2 button.
I'm going.
L2 button,
I'm not looking. I'm going.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we have. I don't know if we have that clip. Maybe we have that clip of Torey Lovullo talking.
Yeah, we do.
We do? Yeah, here we go.
What happened on the base running? Who messed up, or what caused that snafu in the 7th?
I don't know, Doc. Do we even win this game? I've been blacked out since it happened. I don't even know what happened. I was so mad. Man, you can dissect it 1,000 different ways. Everybody has responsibilities on that play. The easy target is to say the third base coach made a mistake. Coaching third base, the big leagues, is extremely difficult. TP's body clock, his game clock, his clock is on, and he's usually spot on. He does a really nice job over there. So, he's easy target. But I think there was some just fundamental miscues by where we were standing in proximity to the bases, tagging up, not tagging up. We got to figure that out. I don't know exactly. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but only one time. And I just became too frustrated at it, so I'll have to look at it a little bit more in depth. But I think everybody had a little bit of responsibility, including the hitter-runner. It's like you think everybody's exempt, but nobody is. We just got to be a little bit more situationally aware in that situation. It went from potentially a game where it would have been 2-3, maybe 4-0 coming off of that field, and it was 1-0. Once again, I want to bridge over to how focused our guys got when they needed to win a game despite some really frustrating times. This team was extremely frustrated. Every coach, every player, the trainers, everybody was frustrated after that play. But we regrouped and won the game.
If we get Moreno,
blacked out and still doesn't know if they won the game. I understand. I can relate. Having blinding anger myself, I could absolutely relate to that, Jesse.
That was kind of a refrain that Torey used multiple times in this post-game interview, honestly. I don't know. If we asked him anything after the 7th inning, he was like, I don't know what happened after the 7th inning. I was just pissed off about this base running blunder. But it was, frankly, it was that level of egregious. This is the kind of thing you just cannot have happen. Jace Peterson, a guy who has struggled, obviously, since coming over to the D-backs. He gets an enormous hit. The bases are loaded with nobody out, a one hopper off the right field fence. And I just like up in the press box, I see Tony Perez-Chica like motioning to the guy rounding third. And my natural assumption is the D-backs have already scored 2 runs. And he's like deciding whether to send the third run or not. That's what's supposed to happen when the bases are loaded and you hit a one hopper off the fence. Yeah. But no, right? That was Gabby Moreno. That's the guy who was on second base who did not score on a pitch that one hopped the fence. It was a really unfortunate play for the D-backs. And as Torey described there's a lot of responsibility that goes around. Gabby got a bad read. Jace Peterson, as much as he should have had a double on that play, he didn't. And so he shouldn't have rounded first and gotten all the way basically to second base. And Tony Perez-Chica also should probably have just sent Gabby. I didn't get a great look at that live in the moment, but I have to believe that Gabby, with his speed, even though he didn't get a great read, he should be able to score from second base on a one hopper off the fence. So just an all around blunder for the Diamondbacks. You could tell people were very disheartened over this, but as Torey talked about, he went back over and over in that interview to the Diamondbacks being able to hold it together and find a way to win this game, something that you get the sense they would not have done as of a few weeks ago.
Cattell was the only one that didn't seem like he did anything wrong there. He kind of just got caught in between.
Cattell was innocent.
He did a good job of getting back to second.
Yeah.
Right. And Jesse, you even that was the wild thing was you're there, you have the press box view. And the first thing you did after that play was over was text us what the hell just happened. And that's because none of us knew the answer to that. Like literally we watched it. I think, we don't often like rewind the broadcast and stuff, but we did our best to try to break this down.
CSI on him.
Yeah, he
went
to his computer and like frame by framed it just because we had no idea who really was at fault.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like Torey said, the obvious target there is a third base coach, and also I think Tony has been under a little bit of fire from D-backs fans on a couple of occasions, somewhat recently. So I think naturally people are already kind of ready to come at him, and he very well might have done something wrong, but I think he was kind of put in a weird situation there with everybody else not really doing their job.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was a mess. It was a mess.
Corbin Carroll hit his first home run in 30 days. Jesse, what was his mood like after hitting that game winner?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the first time that we've talked with Corbin after a game in a decent while, frankly. He just hasn't been, he's really kind of bounced back over the last couple weeks. He's had a few multi-hit games here and there, but this was the big hit. I mean, this was the hit. This was the home run that took one of the D-backs have had their share of frustrating losses this year, no doubt. I don't know if they could have possibly ever had a loss that was more frustrating than this one would have been.
No
right?
kidding. Yeah.
I mean, this was a game that the D-backs, like they should have scored 3 runs. Just like on paper, if you play out the rest of the inning, they should have easily scored 3 runs in that 7th inning. They come away with 1. And then you come into the 8th inning and your pitcher, who's been absolutely mowing the Reds hitters down, had allowed 1 hit up to that point in the game. He suddenly exits with cramping. Torey has to kind of scramble in the bullpen. You give 2 runs back. I mean, it would have just been a brutal loss. And Corbin came through. Yeah, Corbin came through in the biggest spot of the game. And, he hasn't, I think it was maybe July 23rd, something like that was his last home run. It's obviously been a grind for him over the last month or so, but you can see it kind of looks like he's turning a corner right now. I think he was 8 for his last 16 or something like that entering that at bat. He had a good swing, an opposite field single earlier in the game as well. So I think Corbin is maybe turning things around, and that's obviously a huge development for the Diamondbacks.
Important series to win. Not again, we don't want to, have 30 plus games left and say that any of these games are a must win, but a pretty important series for this team. Obviously, I know that there's the whole sweeping the Reds and trying to get that tiebreaker, but that seems like a lot to ask at this point. It's just a matter of trying to take at least 3 of 4 from this team and build on that.
Tiebreaker doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I mean, make it so like that. The Reds, you can put the Reds away a little bit here by beating them, so things aren't so close. But what do you think as far as the probables go that this series is in the Diamondbacks' favor still, or What do you think? No Zach Gallen still, and we're at Brandon Pfaadt going tomorrow. Here's the rest of the here's the rest of the probables that we had for this series. Now updated with Zach Davies, Pfaadt, Davies, Ciccone for the Diamondbacks, Green, Kennedy, Ashcraft for the Reds.
Oh, did the Reds update that? Oh, yeah. Okay, so the Reds, the Reds moved Green.
According to ESPN.
So yeah, Green was slated to start on Saturday against Davies. So they moved up Green to Friday, it looks like. So yeah, so Green against Pfaadt tomorrow. Saturday, at least according to the MLB app, I don't have a starter for Saturday. Brett Kennedy, I guess, would probably be a reasonable guess there. Him facing off against Zach Davies, and then Ashcraft against Ciccone. That's how that one lined up initially. So it's not terrible. Brandon Pfaadt's been pitching really well. We talked with Torey earlier today. You guys might have already covered this, but the D-backs made an interesting decision to swap Brandon Pfaadt and Merrill Kelly in the rotation. Yeah. And Torey basically described how, down the stretch you want Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly as your 1-2, which makes sense. So the D-backs kind of swapped those guys around. And Brandon Pfaadt has been pitching really well. So, Hunter Green throws extremely hard, but he doesn't necessarily get the results that you'd expect him to. He's in his second year in the league and still kind of figuring things out. So I think that matchup tomorrow is, reasonably balanced. Saturday, Zach Davies, you don't necessarily feel great on the D-back side, but Brett Kennedy is a pretty inexperienced pitcher if that's who it winds up being for the Reds. And then Sunday, Ashcraft against Ciccone. That one probably fairly balanced as well. So at the end of the day, I mean, the D-backs have a bunch of young position players. The Reds have a ton of young position players. I think 7 of their 10 starters in this game were rookies, including their starting pitcher, which was insane. The D-backs don't have quite that many, but they have some young position players of their own. And at the end of the day, it's going to be like, which of those position player groups wins out. That's kind of what it feels like is this series is going to come down to.
And 15,000 people get a Corbin Carroll bobblehead in as an apology for having to watch Zach Davies potentially pitch. But
and 30,000 people don't, which is the sad reality of those bobblehead nights, right?
Jesse, it's like if you can hold any contest and say like, hey, I'm going to pay one person $1 million to pick up all this dog poop. That means if you got 20 people doing it, 19 are going to do it for free. But here's the biggest thing is that Zach Davies really is a wild card right now for this team. When you speak about the wild card and everything the Diamondbacks are going through, we have no idea what they're going to get out of Zach Davies. We know he hasn't been good at times for this team, yet he's shown glimpses at times this very season of being a good pitcher, just not consistently. More importantly, we know he struggled in AAA Reno. So we really have no idea what we're going to get out of Zach Davies up here on Saturday.
I'm going to bet on the Reds so hard on that game. Home runs for every single Reds batter. I'm taking the over on runs given up, under on outs got recorded, under on strikeouts. Yeah. I am in on fading Zach Davies on Sunday.
You're supposed to be a Diamondbacks fan, right?
I'm a Diamondbacks fan that likes money.
He's a fan of money, Jesse.
And I'm also a realistic Diamondbacks fan. I'm not going to – you want me to sit here and pretend that Zach Davies is good?
He's using his Diamondbacks information to win himself
insider
money.
Trading.
Yeah, that's what this is a little
Zach,
bit.
I will say, you guys remember that start again? I think it was against the Tampa Bay Rays. Zach Davies lined up against the Rays after like a string of just terrible starts. Yeah. And everyone was like, all right, I don't even want to turn this game on. And Zach Davies went out that day. I think it was 7 innings of 1-run ball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
he was very good.
One of the times I was talking
I would be more inclined to have a shred of belief if this wasn't coming off of an injury that is, coming off of him being dog shit in Reno, coming off of an injury. That concerns me a little bit.
However, I will say this. The one weird thing about like rehab starts and things is that they tend to like not, as ridiculous as it sounds, they tend to not go to their best stuff. Like they're not trying to go on their best stuff. It's kind of like spring training when they're like working on stuff. So they're working on maybe something specific, but they might change their approach when they're actually playing in competitive Major League Baseball teams. It's not to say he's not trying as a pitcher for the Reno Aces.
Approach is.
Yeah, you don't know what exactly it is. Typically, when they're doing that, that's more of a backlot game or like a Arizona Complex League game or something like that. Typically, if they're going out and pitching for the AAA team, they're still trying to have success. But
was Zach Davies also?
I guess I'm just hoping that might be the case, that he was just kind of working on stuff, and maybe he's better when he's up here.
Davies was also the Atlanta pitcher, though, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. And then somebody said that the radio said that he's a junk ball. Condog said the radio crew seemed to think a junk baller like Davies might fare well against the Reds. And who knows? Maybe that's the case, especially.
I don't know if I would call Davies like a junk baller.
Junk baller?
He's not throwing like knucklers or like a bunch of curveballs or something.
That's true.
That's
fair.
It's a changeup, right?
They just mean his pitches are junk, Jesse. That's what they mean. I think that's what they mean by junk baller, but I don't know. Anyway, very
trash.
Very pivotal. Yeah, they are trash. Very, very pivotal series for this team, Jesse. But of course, we know you will be out there all weekend long, so we will. You and I will be back here tomorrow doing our post-game show for Game 2 of the series.
I feel like we have to shout out Paul Sewald and the fact that like it's ugly every single time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the man gets the job done, and he did that once again today with his back against the wall, right? A 1-run lead, a game that it would have been really tough to swallow, I think, if the Reds had come back and taken this one. It took almost 30 pitches. Again, it wasn't pretty. I know that he's not personally satisfied with the way that these innings have gone. But 7 for 8 in save opportunities is 7 for 8 in save opportunities.
8 games straight, 8 games without a run given up. 8 games in a row without a run given up. I don't think we've seen that out of any Diamondbacks reliever all year. Like maybe there was a stretch when Scott McGuff was pretty good for like
sneaky.
10 games.
Didn't he have like a 14-game
something like that without giving up? He at least had 9. I remember he got up to 9 for sure. I know Justin Martinez also got up to not Justin Martinez. Was it Justin Martinez? I think it was Justin Martinez. But yeah, like these guys have had good stretches. It's just there's a difference about coming out in the 9th inning and getting the save, and I don't think we've seen anybody do it this way where, like you said, Jesse, even when it's not pretty, he's still able to get the job done.
Yeah, and that's the other difference now versus a few weeks ago. Like, not only are the D-backs maybe not able to fight back and get that big hit to come back, but in the 9th, who the heck are they going to, right? That was the question that we dealt with over and over and over again. There are still some significant questions in the middle innings of the bullpen, which we saw those issues again tonight. But yeah, the 9th inning, who's getting the ball, and so far, again, it hasn't been pretty, but he really has handled things nicely. The other thing I feel like I have to mention is Torey talked about a pivotal mound visit. I think it was when Miguel Castro first entered the game, where Evan Longoria came into the huddle on the pitching mound and basically just said, "We're going to win this game. Like, book it. We're going to win this game." And Torey described that moment as being kind of a turnaround when, even he, who was all messed up after that base running blunder, he was like, all right, we're going to be okay. And Torey talked about Paul Sewald and his ability to do the same thing, just kind of take a deep breath in those big moments, calm the moment down and be able to execute. And the D-backs were able to do that.
Paul Sewald has such a dad energy.
Oh my god!
Like a dad,
the most calming dad.
A dad who got the family lost on vacation. Like it was his fault, but now that they're all kind of in the shit, he's gonna calm down and figure it out.
Not only is he gonna calm down, but like he is gonna find an awesome diner off the road where we are gonna eat the best cheeseburgers ever, and this is just gonna be the best family.
You're gonna
memory.
have no idea that your dad had no idea what was going on the whole time. He made it look like this was all.
Remember
part of the
that
plan.
one trip to California where we never made it there, but we saw giant dinosaurs and went to that weird diner in the middle of the desert? What happened?
I took a wrong turn. I didn't know how to get back.
We never knew. We thought it was awesome. That was like one of my favorite days. Yeah, Paul Sewald, big dad energy for sure. But Jesse,
EDE, big dad energy, Paul Sewald.
We appreciate you joining us, sir. And of course, make sure to follow Thunderstick at Jesse N. Friedman on Twitter for all of your updates on the Arizona Diamondbacks. And of course, like I said, we'll be back here tomorrow with more on the next post-game show for Game 2. Jesse, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. See ya.
All right, see you, bud.
Jesse. Someone finally noticed in the chat that we switched laptops.
I did. Yeah, I saw that. I was wondering if anybody was going to pick up on it, and that's because who was it? I think you go up a little bit more. There was There was talk about, I think it was Brandon said it.
Yeah.
Brandon Stevens said, why y'all switch laptops? We did that because my laptop died, Brandon. But that's very astute of you.
I only
very
have my
observational.
laptop up here to make me look smart and like I'm doing things.
He's searching on Twitter the whole show. He's just
not
looking
the
for
whole show, but
half of
a
it.
decent amount of the show. I'm scrolling through Twitter.
But see, like, I needed his laptop so I could read these final ad reads. So that's pulling the curtain back too much. But Jesse, drink some water. That's from Kevin in the chat. But of course, one thing that you'll also need to do is drink plenty of water when you are enjoying the edibles from our friends at OG's Brands, because it might give you a little cotton mouth.
Will get you, yeah.
It will get you some cotton mouth.
But
a
water or Polar Pop.
Yeah, Polar Pop, drink whatever you need, whatever
Four
you need to
Peaks.
keep your whistle wet. But I will tell you this much: you're going to have a
Wink.
great time on those edibles, because OG's Brands has everything you need, whether it's to get a good night's sleep, whether it's to enjoy yourself and have a good time, or whether it's just to balance yourself out. They also have taken the guesswork out of what flavors you want to get, because now they have their fruit and cream mix bags. The fruits, red apple, watermelon, peach. The creams, blackberry and cream, orange creamsicle, and peaches and cream. Can't go wrong with any of those. All of those Hall of Fame flavors. Yeah, this man,
Dude,
he
I
doesn't
love
have one
fruits and
favorite
cream.
because he has all of them.
That's why I'm big on the creams.
Yeah, the creams are great. The creams are great. Yeah,
Huge cream guy.
I'm a big cream guy myself. Of
Huge
course.
cream guys over there.
You can also get those in Sunny Sativa or Mellow Indica. So strain, dosage, whatever you need, OG's has you covered. And being a PHNX listener also gets you covered, because it just got a whole lot sweeter thanks to our buds at OG's Brands. Right now through August 31st, you can get 25% off a 100 milligram bag of the fruits and the creams at all Arizona The Flower Shop locations. All you have to do is go to theflowershopusa.com, place an online order, and use discount code PHNX at checkout. Then head to your nearest flower shop location to pick up. It's that easy. The deal is exclusive to our PHNX listeners. And reminder, it's available only for online orders that are picked up in person, which, by the way, is the best way to go to a dispensary.
Oh my God! Why are you going?
Why are you going to go sit in a waiting room
I will
for
say,
God knows how long?
Dispensaries, like if you're new to the cannabis game, bud tenders are often great people.
They really
They're
are.
very kind. They don't. I'll never forget my first experience. Actually, I've never said this before. My first time going to a dispensary when it was legal was the flower shop. It's the one near my apartment now,
Let's go.
actually. And I was not gonna lie, I was a little terrified because I was used to just kind of hitting up my friend that I went to high school with on Snapchat and going to his apartment.
Yeah, meeting in a parking lot somewhere.
Exactly. It was sketchier, but I understood the process a little bit more.
It was an
I went
easier
in.
process.
Bud tenders were incredibly kind, walked me through it. So the bud
They're
tenders
almost
at the
too
flower
nice.
shop are super nice. If you're new to all this, they'll walk you through it.
If you're an experienced vet,
But
you're
if
going
you're
to get
experienced-
annoyed waiting.
Yeah,
behind
you don't
them,
gotta wait.
But you don't have to wait.
because you're gonna sit there and you're gonna walk in, and there's gonna be a newbie who's getting kind of shown the ropes.
Yeah.
Just go order
Meanwhile,
online.
you're
Use our
getting yours
code
online.
and
Yep.
you could just walk in. You're gonna
easy.
spit on all the people waiting in the
They're gonna be
walking
like,
line.
you Derek? I'm like, yeah, I'm Derek.
damn
Here's your
straight I
bag.
am.
Bang, bang,
you're gonna
bang,
be out.
bang. Out. And that's that easy. So
With your OG's
the deal is exclusive again to PHNX listeners. And again, only for online orders that are picked up in person. Discount PHNX is active until August 31st. So go get yourself some OGs and flavor your life.
OGs. Get it
Get
in
it in
ya.
ya. Get it in ya.
Get it
Get
in ya. Speaking of getting it in, you also get in you some Countdown by Wink. If you absolutely need a liftoff, you need to check out Countdown by Wink. Countdown is a nano emulsion cannabis infused beverage. That's a mouthful, but it is 0 calories. It is 0 sugars, and it will get you high as a kite.
True.
It's currently available in 7 states, including right here in Arizona. And if you are ready to escape the ordinary edibles or drinks, you got to check out Countdown. It's kind of
5,
like a seltzer,
4,
right? Yeah.
3,
you know, once you've taken it, it's
2,
too late. It's too late. Once you've drank
1,
it, you're already, it's
blast
time for
off.
liftoff, right? And that's all you got to do. Leave it all behind and know you'll land safely back to Earth after you're done. But it's available right now in either that's Wink. But you can find Wink and Countdown here in Arizona. The Wink is available in 2.5 or 5 milligram cans. Again, the Countdown is available in 25 milligram cans. You can find Wink right here in Arizona. Look for Wink at all Sunday Good dispensaries in the Valley and Botanica dispensary in Tucson. They're in 12 states nationwide and even recently launched online ordering and home delivery to about a dozen others. So to find out the way to get your hands on one immediately, go to Drink Wink, and that's WYNK.com.
Another good dispensary, Sunday Goods.
Sunday Goods, another great
Nice
dispensary.
as hell.
Yeah, absolutely posh, super posh. But of course, one more thing to deal with, and that's the red eyes, right? And of course, if you want to hide your red eyes, you got to have yourself a good pair of Shady Rays sunglasses, premium polarized sunglasses that not only will hide your eyes,
Look how reflective those lenses are.
Of others, but they will protect your eyes from the sun. And Shady Rays is not only an independent sunglass company that offers a world-class product, but they also offer the most insane lost and broken replacement plan in all of eyewear. Of course, if you lose or break your pair, even on day one, Shady Rays has told us they will send you a new pair, no questions asked. They have their brand new shop here in town at Kierland Commons if you want to go check them out in person. And whether you buy them in person or online at their website, if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated by 5 stars by over 250,000 people. It's only sunglasses I'll wear. That's a true statement right there. But
listen to Jesse and smash that mother freaking like button.
Yeah, Jesse's here.
Look at that pure emoji smile. It's such a pure little emoji.
Does he even have a mustache like that?
And also
anymore?
buy the gosh darn shirt now.
Yeah, get that shirt. Smash the like button. Smash the buy button on the shirt.
Yeah, go to the Go PHNX locker right now.
Yep.
It's funny you bring up Jesse's facial hair because both him and my cartoons have the same facial hair.
Yeah, that
but
bothers me.
He shaved his mustache. I shaved the beard part.
Yeah.
So now we kind of
together.
Together we are. We're like a Power Ranger.
I love it.
Facial hair.
I love it. Like you guys come together like Voltron for your own pictures. But we appreciate you guys joining us tonight, of course, and we appreciate you loving this Arizona Diamondbacks team, which is in fact once again a wagon. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at Cap_caveman with a K. This man next to me is at Shawn_DePaz. That's P-A-Z at the end. Of course, we are all Damon's dogs. And you can follow Damon, the maniac behind the Mac, at Damon Dog. That's D-A-W-G at the end. Of course.
It's pause and pause.
Pause and what?
Pause, like a dog. Like pause.
I need to throw
and
both of you out of here now. Jesse, I need you back. This has to go.
Yeah, also, that is crazy. The man hasn't had a mustache in a grit. Like, it's been a very long time since he's had that mustache.
True.
I think we might need a playoff stash.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go. I think we go playoff stashes.
Yeah, all of us. Oh, are you kidding me?
Down.
Playoff?
I am absolutely down.
We're making this a thing.
Playoff stashes? Just stashes?
Yeah, you got it already going on.
But that's not as fun for me.
Oh, sorry. It's not our fault that you picked the cool facial hair that we all want to do to celebrate this team.
Yeah, no, we can all be playoff stashes.
I'm a trendsetter. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like handlebars.
The reason if I could have more facial hair, I would, guys.
Yeah, I know. That's how I felt when Lourdes told me that my hair should be fuller in order, like more, like more volume. That was cold blooded. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys for being here tonight. Of course, again, we thank you for loving this team as much as we do. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when you send the goddamn runners at third base.